Hi again, Shannon. So here we are on level 7, right, Jim? I think this is level 7, I called it earlier. Anyway, we're at the broach. Terry and I, Jim, Rebecca, Shannon, we're all just examining what's going on here and found it quite seriously rotted. The real point that we want to make here is how we can really determine how bad the rot is by the nails. Our original square-headed steel nails, as Terry's a lot closer to the camera than I am, have literally deteriorated.
Yep.
Better words, eh, Terry?
Yep. No, they're breaking as we pull them off. We're losing better part of half the nail. As you said, Tom, these are ferrous metal. Once they're wet, they're almost worth nothing.
The unfortunate thing when our nails go, that everybody needs to realize, is how it weakens our structure. Because now we don't have members tied to each other members correctly within the structure. So the structure is able to wander, I guess. What do you want to say about that, Terry? Like, once you don't have that tied down effect that a nail gives or a screw gives, everything now is on its own kind of thing.
Wood framing construction in Canada is based on use of very small sections of wood, and they rely on working in combination together. So the moment you start losing the diaphragm effect that the sheathing is providing to the framing members, suddenly the framing member can start to drift. And you know, the spire's got wind acting on it. So once it gets weakened, it amplifies itself the longer it stays that way, meaning more boards get loose. What we're finding is that the spire shifted, the top plates have moved with it.
Right, so. Right. Anything to input, Jim?
No. Never talk after an expert.
The other thing is, too, is even the lumber going up our spire, you can tell by the color of it even that it's well worn and getting tired out. And to the touch of the hand, it's damp. It's not dry lumber. It's quite damp, and the color indicates the dampness in it too, eh? And one of the reasons that is because that metal was parked directly on top of it. There's no airflow on this side of the wood. And sometimes that's where you'll see the deterioration on spires the worst, is where the outside two properties are touching. Straight metal on top of old wood. There's no airflow in there, and it just, unfortunately, the dampness just stays in it. And I was pulling out just a minute ago, maybe Jim can pull out one of those nails out of the gutter I dropped, that it literally, Jim's got lots in here. The nails literally just get, so right in the center of the nail, it's going to break off on you because there's just no strength left in the nail. Yeah. And so, as Terry was just commenting about, if that's going on all the way up our spire, on our crossboards that keep our upright sticks secure, that's not a good thing. Final comment before Shannon shuts us down here?
What we're going to do is remove all the wood, the sheathing, and keep the structure. I'm afraid the secondary structure that's forming the broach, which spans from the exterior wall to the main structure of the spire, that all this wood sheathing has to be removed and replaced, rebuilt. And as Tom's pointing out, because the siding on the spire has been wet all this time, the strength in the wood's probably compromised to the point that we've got to remove all the substrate boards on the spire that supported the metal roof. We'll have to replace all that with new plywood. But what we will be doing is putting a membrane, as Tom was talking, onto the wood before we put the metal on that will allow airflow to keep the wood structure sound.
Yeah, she's pretty soft.
Yeah, the other thing with these is once they start to rust, they expand, like they grow. And what happens is it forces the position the nail was in to expand too. Suddenly they're just not doing anything, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
that shape too doesn't help. Our ancestors had the right idea as far as getting them in, but once they start to come out with that type of shape, they're coming out, eh?
Well, it's
they're not like a wire nail, eh?
Yeah, well here it's the spiral Ardox nails, but even these are ferrous. Somebody's already done a repair here, but they've failed too, right? Like they're all rusted because they've been exposed to wood.
Right.
These are the more, well look, I can push this one back up.
Get my foot off it for you.
No, it was 102 somehow. Oh, Shannon, it'll have to be the next episode.
Yeah, no problem.
Seeing a wire nail there? Yeah, I see a wire nail too.
This one's got a spiral to it, eh?
Yeah, so it's an Ardox, eh?
Yeah.
So yeah, Terry's just pointing out to us that there has been repairs to this brooch, because here we are with a modern day wire nail in Ardox form.
Yeah.
And looks like about a 30-year-old nail.
Yeah, and
that'd be a guess.
Yeah, the spiraling on it helps it grip the wood better and resist.
Exactly. Yeah, doesn't free it up to just jump out like an old-fashioned squirrel nail would.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with the old-fashioned squirrel nails, but get the wood wet, and then there's a problem.
Yep. Yeah.
So one of the important things too that we should mention about when we would re-nail all this stuff is to actually not use just a steel nail like this Ardox galvanized, this non-Ardox galvanized nail is. This is just a regular steel Ardox nail. We should be using a galvanized Ardox steel nail, or Ardox. Let me say that again, Terry. I'm tongue-tied now. We should use a nail which has been galvanized, which is an Ardox, which will help it to stop rusting quite so quickly. Thank you. I think I got that right, hey Jim?